Hi, welcome to Boring Sales. I'm Diego Mangabeira, and I'm going to talk to you on this episode about 7 touch points sequence that books meetings consistently. I'm not going to sell you on this case a 47-step AI cadence that books, for instance, 200 meetings a month. What I'm going to tell you is I'm going to show you a 7 touch sequence that books real meetings consistently. Based on my experience in sales, I work in sales for over 17 years already. In on this case, in terms of numbers, just to share with you, I already sent more than 600,000 over six. I just make my notes here, so 663,265 emails sent. So I have a lot of emails that I sent. In terms of booking the meetings, more over 400 on this case to anyone, and that's my data. So I'm going to share with you real experience that might be interesting for you in terms of what you're facing in your outreach, in your strategy, or even what you're doing on a daily basis. Okay. At some point, my sequences were so optimized that they were basically harassment with good formatting. Then I stripped everything back. I started checking what went wrong, what I could do better, because every time that we do something, I'll say that we always need to reevaluate what we're doing, and then that's what I did. And the question I asked for me was, what's the minimum that still works? So, what's the best strategy or the smartest strategy that we might try in order to have the best or even the high performance sequence ever? So the answer was the 7 touches over 30 days, and I'm going to share with you. And why these sequences exist, for instance. Most people won't reply to their first email, not because they hate you, but because life happened. Sometimes that DM, the decision maker, needs to went out of the office. Sometimes it's a parents issue at school, or even because of traffic, something happened. And most of the time, there are not, I'll say, not good professionals that understand in sales. I mean, that don't understand that sometimes that happens. And if the person does not reply to you at the first time, or even the second touch, or the third, it doesn't matter. It doesn't represent, I'll say, that the person is not interested in your product, in your service, or even in yourself. And if you take these emotion triggers, or I'll say, if you pull out those ones from your brain, I'll say that your strategy, your sales outreach would work better. Okay. And a sequencing, for instance, sequence is a timing strategy, okay, not a persistence strategy. You're going to have a time. It's not going to take forever, because you're going to have a beginning, the middle of it, and the end of it. Okay. It's not going to last forever. And the timing on this case for sequence to work is patience, okay? And you need to be patient. Persistence on this case is not annoying, okay? And most of the time, salespeople understand that I need to persist until the person replies. Sometimes that works. I'm not saying that doesn't work, but sometimes it won't work. Okay, and you need to understand this is like a teeny tiny difference between a huge, great salesperson and an average or even a bad salesperson. So, what are the 7 touch that I'm going to share? I'm going to share between 7 points, okay? And I'm going to start with the day one. The day one is the trigger email. So on this case, what you're going to have on this day one, you're going to have 4 lines only, okay? Just that, 4 lines, and you are going to share a specific reason with the lead, with the potential customer, the client, and you're going to ask something, okay? So, but it's going to be a soft ask, something like that. I already shared that in our episodes, but do that first. Okay, I think I shared in the episode number 2, but you can, as an example, try to be really um, smart on your question, but at the same time, not to be pedant. Okay, so you need to ask something that doesn't sound really bad for the person to answer. So really simple, really clear, straightforward. Okay. Touch number two is on day three. So we wait 2 days and then we send another email in our outreach or in the program that you're using to send emails. The one is the value add. Okay, so we're going to add value for the lead, for the decision maker. It's not just a following up. Okay, I'm just following up. Let's circle back. Forget that. Okay, you're going to share a new insight, a relevant stat about the niche, the industry, about his or her company, or even you can try a smarter question and try to be really critic about what you're sharing. Okay, I'm saying that pay attention on what you're sharing with the lead. Okay, sometimes what is important to you is not so important for the lead, and you need to pay attention to that because most of the time we think that we know what they want, but you need to understand your persona, your ICP, and a few salespeople or a few people inside the business or entrepreneurs understand that you need to comprehend what he or she does on a daily basis. And once you do that on a daily basis, business basis, you're going to share the same wording, the same lingo that he or she shares or talks. Okay. You're proving you're worth responding to. So what you share is important to me. It makes sense. Okay. He or she's sharing something that for me is really important. Okay. Really hard to find that line. Touch number three, we're going to wait for 3 days, on this case, day six, and we're going to share a social proof. And on this case, in one sentence, you're going to share one client result or even something that might be interesting for his or her um, business. Okay. And on this case, you don't need to share any deck. Okay. Don't share any PowerPoint presentation, Google Slides, something like that, or even any other fancy program or software that you might use. And you can use something like this. I just make my one script here, one phrase that you might share. We helped, and on this case, company type, so you can share the niche from the company that you helped achieve, and then you specify the specific outcome that you fulfill with that client, something like that. So we helped, company type, so the niche, achieve, and a special outcome. Okay. Touch number four, we wait 4 days on this case, and day 10, we're going the reframe. And what's the reframe? We're going to try a new angle, okay, on their problem, not a louder pitch. We're going to try something different just to make the person pay attention on what you're sharing. And you might try something like this. Most ICP, so you're going to share what's his ICP or her ICP comprehends. I talk to deal with, and then the problem, the pain, okay, especially the pain. Sometimes you're not focusing your effort, your energy on the right pain point from that lead. Okay, once you discover it, you are going to make that sale. So most ICP I talk to deal with pain. Okay, is that on your radar? So you're going to ask a question. Is that on your radar? And that creates an opportunity for the person to reply. And it's a different email. The person knows that you're sharing some emails. Probably he or she knows that you're trying to have his or her attention. That's why you might try a different approach. Okay, that's really important. Touch number 5, day 14th, the pattern interrupt. Sometimes one line is enough, but you might try 2, 3. It's up to you to define. But something like this is still the right person to reach out to about and topic, subject. Sometimes that's not the right decision maker inside that company. You would be shocked how many replies this one gets. And I tried that a lot. And the person feels like, am I interrupting something? Oh, I'm not the right person, but I am the right person. So here I am. Okay. So the person start talking to you. It's really interesting to try that one. Touch number 6 is the day 20, the soft goodbye, really soft. I don't want to be noise. I'll leave this here in case timing shifts. Okay. On it is rare in outbound, so use it. Uh, on this case, I can I do not want to create any expectations or false expectations. Sometimes the person is not the right lead for you, but you might receive some answers for this email that you might try in touch 6. Okay, and then the last one, last but not least, touch number 7 on the day 30. Okay, the breakup. So the short version could be like this: closing your file, no hard feelings. Some of my best meetings came from this email, and I will say this close up is really important because you might face that lead in an emotional sense. Oh, he or she's not replying me. I'm trying for 30 days. Okay. But as I said, there are a lot of excuses or you're not the center of your universe. There are a lot of things happening on his or her life. So you need to understand that when you are trying to create this relationship, sometimes I close a client after 2 years. Why you're not following up? Why it's not persistence? Is a strategy, a follow up strategy, a sequence that works. And once you try that, the person might enjoy that because you are trying to make a connection with another human being. Okay, and this is not magic. And as I said, replies rate might vary a lot. ICP, job titles, offer, timing, but every prospect in this case get a fair shot across 30 days. You might have like a sample, like analysis, data analysis of how your market answers or reports and something like that. You can create KPIs, but you are not going to sound so robotic or even desperate or annoying. You might be more strategic than you're now doing or even you're being inside your market. Okay. I wish you a great day. I'll see you in another episode of Boring Sales. I wish you an awesome day and good sales for you. And keep it boring. Bye. Take care.